Hey everyone, I am here today to show you my brand new human hair wig that I won from Lose Wigs, and I am very committed to bringing you guys regular updates on this because I know that human hair is a huge investment. This is a tremendous blessing for me to have won this wig. I would have never ever in a million years been able to spend the amount of money that this wig cost to purchasing it. So to give back for this blessing, I am going to be bringing you guys lots and lots of videos. So if you don't care about human hair, you might just want to bypass these videos. I hope I don't make you guys sick of me, but because I want to keep up with my other synthetic video. I have lots of reviews and lots of other things to bring to you guys, but I know that human hair wigs are a huge investment, and I know that they're very scary, and so I'm going to use the platform that I have to try to help a few people. So I'm here to talk with you about this wig. I did post a quick 1-minute video yesterday of me wearing this wig pretty much straight out of the box. So I ordered this wig. It came really quickly within 5 days or so, and I just basically didn't know what to do with it at first. So it laid in the box for a few days. Yesterday I took it out of the box and I cut the lace off. I did not film that. I do not have enough experience with these. I don't want to steer anybody wrong. So I cut the lace myself, and I cut the lace while it was on my head. So I sort of held it taut and the lace went down to like right about here or so, and cut that lace off. I may need to trim it even more, but that's where I'm at with it right now. And I just used a straight scissors on it as opposed to a pinking shears, which is what I've talked about in some of my synthetic videos, because this lace is just a little bit different than what comes on the ready-made, ready-to-wear wigs, synthetic wigs that I review a lot of. And I watched a retailer from another vendor talk about never using pinking shears on these wigs. I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong. I used just a regular scissors. It was much easier than a pinking shears, let me tell you, because they're smaller, but that's what I did. So if you have not seen my video from yesterday, I want you to go quick watch it. It's a minute long, and it's this wig out of the box. So they sent it to me pre-curled, so it had some very loose curls in it, and it was very, very flat, very smooth, and beautiful little waves. Today, I took her and I washed her. I sort of washed her. I rinsed her out in the sink like I was going to wash her, and then I just put a little conditioner on kind of from here, the mid links down, let it sit for a few minutes, rinse that off. I didn't fully wash her because I didn't think she needed it. I mean, she's brand new, and they would have washed her before they curled her, but I wanted to reset the style. I wanted to be able to change the part. It was more of a middle part, and so in order to change a part on a human hair wig, you do have to kind of get that all wet up there so you can start redirecting those fibers. So that's what I did earlier today. I put it on a wig head. I do have a quick 1-minute video showing it drying on the wig head, so make sure you watch that as well. And I put it on a wig head, and what I did was I put a little towel, a dish towel, over the wig head, and then I put the cap over it after I sort of air dried or towel dried the wig. Because this cap was fitting me a little bit snug, I had hoped to maybe stretch it out a little bit. I've read that if you put a wig cap on a block head that's a little bit bigger than the cap, that it can stretch it out. I think it worked. This is feeling a little bit more comfortable than it was yesterday, but then again, I might be getting used to it. I don't think it didn't stretch it out a ton, and I don't know that one time would really be enough anyway, but it is feeling more comfortable. So let me show you what she looks like. So what have I done to her? I sort of washed her like I just told you. I towel dried her. Then I wrapped her in a towel and I squeezed out all of the water that I could. Then I put it on a wig head and I just lightly took a hair dryer and I kind of blow dried the hair. I reparted it, so from more of a center part to my typical left going to the right part. And I will say, and I'll show you the cap of this one in just a second, but I will say this is not a very big parting space. So I really couldn't part it right here, there's a big space, but then the wefting is like literally right here. I was a little worried you'd be able to see the wefting, but I don't think that you can. So there's not a huge parting space on this one. They'll all be a little different though. This isn't like mass produced, ready to wear that we, you know, Mila, they're all the same. You know, Girl Mono, they're all the same. So you might see one for sale that'll have a bigger parting space. But then what I did was I kind of let it sit on that wig head for a little while. It wasn't fully dry. Then I took it and I hung it upside down by the tag in the bathroom for a little while. And while it was hanging upside down, I took the hair dryer and I sort of dried the cap a little bit because the cap was taking a lot longer than the rest of the wig. What that did was it gave it just a little bit more volume. You can see there's a little bit of volume right here. If you were to see this yesterday, there was zero volume on this, no lift here. It was very, very flat. What I did to it, hanging it upside down a little bit and doing the hair dryer to the cap, really gave it a little more volume. And I'm so grateful for that because I will be honest with you guys, this was way too flat for me yesterday. It was very realistic though. There's no permatease, which there isn't in human hair wigs, no real poof, no volume. It was super flat to the head. So getting this a little bit of lift is going to be crucial for me in actually liking this piece. Last night, before I washed it or did any of these things, I actually hung it upside down in my bathroom, fully dry. I just hung it by the tag overnight. When I put it on this morning, it had more volume. So I do think that is one way to get a little more volume out of this one, is to hang it upside down, and then hopefully that will give it some more lift. I don't know if it'll go flat again as I'm wearing it because I'm still figuring all this out. But look at how she dried. So the last thing that I did to this one is I used this product. Now, I have been purchasing products. I don't know why, guys. Sometimes I don't know if I'm fully sane. But I've purchased a bunch of Lange products because, you know, they get me with all those influencer videos. I'm sure you've seen them. They're huge with working with influencers. And I've wanted to really try to experiment with human hair. I have a couple. I've got my Carries, which I've never heat styled, and I thought maybe my daughter could use it if anything. So this Lange Levite, see that tag? It's very glary from my window right here. So Lange Levite, it looks like this. Basically what it is it's a hot comb, or a brush. So it heats up inside here, and then it's got like a brush on it. So I heated it up, and it's got like electronic controls and temperature control. I had it at 370, and then I just went like this with it. The fibers were the hair, not fibers, the hair was already fully dry when I did this, but I did it to try to smooth out the ends. They didn't need a ton of smoothing out though. They were pretty nice and smooth just from the little bit of drying, mostly air drying that I did with it. But I just went over it with this multiple times, just like this. I would go from the underside and sort of hold it down on it, and that helped to smooth it out even more. So here is the finished product of what I did to it today. Am I in the frame? I hope I am. It's very, very long. I don't remember the length of this one. I think it's maybe 22 inches. The name of this one was Pippa. I don't know if she still has pictures on her website. It's Luz Wigs, LUSWIGS.com. But I'm definitely getting this one cut. So this is how it came cut. Now you can see it's got a lot of uneven, but when it was curled, the unevenness here looked really good with the curls. It looks a little bit not as good when it's straight, but with the curls, these sort of uneven pieces looked really good. But my kids are getting their hair done on Tuesday, 2 days from now. I'm filming this on a Sunday, and I messaged the hairstylist that's doing their hair, and I asked if she would have time to maybe trim this up a little bit, and she thinks she will. So I'm gonna have her just cut maybe 2 inches off of it. And I want to go crazy. I already ruined one human hair wig. I had purchased a push wig from Wig Studio One, and I ended up ruining that one. because I didn't know what I was doing. The hair on that one is much different. I will talk about that in a future video, just because I'm learning and I didn't know the differences in the hair and all of that. So it's very, very different, and I wasn't prepared to deal with that. So unfortunately, I ruined it. But anyway, here you go. This color is beautiful. I had so much trouble choosing a color. It's a very neutral brown with blonde highlights in it. Subtle. I can see it looks a little chunky right here. It really doesn't look like that in person. I'm standing in a big window though, so we're getting outside natural light. There's no red in this one. It's just a neutral brown with some blonde highlights. It's so pretty. Let's look at the cap real quick. So we have got there is the lace part of it and the lace front. Now this looks wide. It's really not as wide, especially because I want to do a left-hand part. It doesn't go over to the left very much. Like if I were to center this, where's the other ear tab? So that's sort of the center. So it's not a wide part at all, parting space. And then the rest of this is wefted. So it's closed wefting. It has a material over it, but everything else on this cap is wefted. So it's not a hand, like fully hand tied. But it's definitely, I don't worry about any wefting being seen. It is closed wefting. It doesn't have the big thick wefting. It is what she called an average density wig. And yesterday when I had it on, it felt less full than it does today. I really felt like it was more low density yesterday, but after having washed it and gotten all the wave out of it and any product that she may have used on it, I don't know if she did or not, it feels a lot fuller today. It is not a heavy density at all. I think she had it on there at 130 density. And I've heard people say that 130 density in one brand may not be the same in another brand. So I think overall, human hair wig shopping is going to be really difficult because of all the variation, even more so it seems like than with the other wigs. There are some little baby hairs sort of here and there in this piece, and I'm still trying to figure those out. I don't get awesome coverage with this one. You can see my bio hair over here. I really had a hard time choosing cap size. Based on their chart, I am a large circumference at 22 inches, and I am between a extra small and a small over the top of my head. And so I asked them for advice. They didn't give me any. They just basically said, it just depends. And so their return policy is one free exchange. I would have to have paid the shipping to ship it back, but I could have gotten one free exchange with no restocking fee. And I opted not to take advantage of that. Even though this cap is a little small on me and a little snug, I didn't want to go through all of that and then find a large cap to be too big because it's a small amount that it doesn't work for me. So I figure I'll just try to stretch it out over time by wearing it and, putting it on a wig head when it's wet. And I think that'll be good enough. I wish I had better coverage because I would love to be able to do updos with this one and pull it back, and I'm really going to struggle with that, but I will continue to work with it and figure that part out. And for people who have some bio hair, then you could just blend your bio hair. Ladies, this is one example of if you're struggling with whether or not I should buzz my hair off. I know I get a lot of people commenting on my buzzing hair series. I will just caution you, if you can blend your hair, that would be a reason not to, because I don't have any hair to blend. And actually my bio hair maybe could have blended with this color, but it's not worth it to me to grow my hair out for all the times when I don't even need to blend my hair. That would be a rare thing. So this is what the lace front looks like. It looks really great. And the part. I'm going to put some scar tape or some makeup on here to maybe make that look a little bit more realistic, but it doesn't look terribly knotty. You can get bleached knots. She had a lot of wigs on her site, and it will tell you whether the knots are bleached or not. I didn't want bleached knots for two reasons. Number one, it weakens them, and it definitely shortens the life of your piece. For one, that this piece retailed for I think it was either $14.99, $1,499, or $15.99. I won it, so I didn't have to pay anything. And this was one of the cheaper ones. She had a ton of wigs that were like $18.99 or over $2,000. I don't want to necessarily have a wig that's already compromised with the bleach knots, although I know a lot of people like that. I would rather just try to make it work with makeup, but you can get ones with bleach knots. I also thought in some of the pictures I saw, where the knots were bleached looked a little odd. It looked kind of orangey. And I don't know if that was just in pictures and video, so very different sometimes than in person. And I just didn't want to deal with that. But if you've gotten wigs before with bleached knots and they're brunette and they look great, leave it in the comments. I'm sure people are going to come to this video for a while now as they're doing their human hair research. The other thing I want to mention are return hairs. So you can see a few little hairs sticking up right here. I think she does a really good job of trying to keep those return hairs long so they blend in, but that's something that you'll deal with human hair. So a return hair is the ends that were tied. So when you tie, just consider the fact that you're sewing something, and so you're using thread. And so you knot the end, and then you've got a little tail. Or when you pull something through, there's a little tail on the end. So depending on how they did that, you might get tiny little return hairs that eventually will start to stick up where it's tied into the cap and not be able to blend, or they'll leave them a little bit longer. They can't leave them fully long, but then eventually they'll blend in. I just have to deal with a few of those, but overall, the return hairs are very minimal on this one so far and don't seem to be an issue. But I think that will be easily dealt with by using some product and, like a product, something like this that will flatten the hair down, which I did at the hairline quite a bit to sort of flatten it down. So I'm not promoting this product right now. I haven't used it enough to tell you if I love it or not. But if you're curious about it, I'm sure there are lots of videos out there from influencers that partner with Lange. I'm not partnering with them right now. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I just don't know enough about it at this point. All I can tell you is it definitely helped smooth these ends out. So the next step for me is going to be to get it trimmed up. I think I'm gonna get it trimmed up before I attempt to curl it. Even though I debated about trying to curl it first and see if I wanted to trim it, I know this is too long for me for general everyday. I would prefer it to be just a couple of inches shorter, maybe like this to start. My Carrie human hair, John Renault, kind of sits at the shoulder for me, and that's a great length, but I want to be careful not to overcut this one and ruin it like I did the other one. So we'll go slow, but once I get it kind of trimmed up a little bit, then I think I'll try to put some curl in it and see how that works. And I'll just keep bringing you guys my journey with this one, and hopefully it will help someone. So far, though, the hair feels amazing. It does tangle, not excessively so, but yesterday I was noticing, I wore it just for a couple of hours yesterday, and, it was tangling some. It's not tangling as much right now as it was yesterday, but I will just say, I think part of that is the length. This is a very long wig, and so anything with length is going to tangle, but I don't feel it's excessive tangling. It's definitely not more than my bio hair would have ever tangled. So anyway, you guys, so this is Pippa, and this is kind of video 1 of my review of Pippa, bringing you my life with this one and how it's going. Let me know if you have questions, if you have tips or tricks for dealing with human hair wigs. Shoot them my way. I need the help because I'm learning as I go. So thanks for watching, you guys. I'll talk to you soon.